Hello, this is a quick video about Sashiko thread. I have been receiving many questions about Sashiko thread, such as what kind of Sashiko thread should I use and what is the recommendation of the Sashiko thread I use. I wrote an article online on the website, but at the same time I thought it would be nice to have a short video about that. I will do that without editing, so please leave the comment if you do not understand something I say here. Again, English is not my mother language. I know that it can cause some problems. So the thread, Sashiko thread we use is produced by Koron or my mother, Sashi.ko and Keiko Tatsuya. Either one, they have very, very similar, almost the same quality. It's cotton 100%. It's about 145 meter length, which is 485 feet yard, I believe. And also, it's about 30 grams, 29, 30 grams. The reason we use this kind of thick thread instead of the regular sewing thread is that the reason we use this thread is to have the thicker stitches to be beautiful, to make the stitches more beautiful. One of the Sashiko purpose is decoration. In order to have a good stitches to make the patterns more vivid and clear, I always recommend to use a thicker thread instead of regular sewing thread. So let's see how I can show you that. Oh, these are some colors that I made a ball, like a cotton and thread ball. I do have another YouTube tutorials how to make those thread balls. So please take a look at that if you're interested in that. Whew. So our Sashiko thread is consisted by 4 fine embroidery floss. I hope you can take a look at it. But if you untwist it a little bit, do you see that 4 of those? Because those 4 fine floss or thread is twisted in a unique way, it can make a very good stitches. If you think it's really too thick, you can separate it like this, but I do not recommend it much because it is as perfect as is. It is very perfect as is, so I want you to use it as is. And let me make a very tiny tutorial, not a tutorial, very tiny example of how these 2 threads can be different. Oops, so it took some it took more than usual to thread. The needle, thank you. So I am making a stitch on the practice indigo dye fabric with the Sashiko thread we use. Oops. Sorry. This time, let's do it. I always make kasane to start, so I kind of didn't focus on that. This time I should be doing good. Okay. So this is like a very simple running stitch on with the Sashiko thread we use. On the other hand, if you use the other like regular sewing thread like this, I got it from a craft store in Japan. It's like a very regular sewing thread. another. Okay, there we go. Let's make the about same length of stitch so we can compare. So this is the difference. I didn't stitch straight. I didn't stitch well with the second regular sewing thread, but do you think that it's thicker? But although it is thicker, the unique twist make 4 strands of thread in one united thread, so it looks much more beautiful in the big picture. I see some people doing the sashiko with this regular hand stitching thread, which is not bad, which is not wrong at all, but at the same time I prefer that. Sashiko has a lot of there are some, I see a lot of sashiko rules and sashiko techniques, like regulations. In my opinion, there's no such a thing. It's all about the preference. You can do either way, but I just simply prefer that based on my experience. And if you're gonna do the big project, I believe that this thread will make it much more beautiful. And you have to spend a lot of time in sashiko project. One can take like a few hours, one can take a few days, month, year. So after those a lot of investment in terms of your time, I want you to be rewarded. That's why I always recommend you to get the best thread available. And the price is not that much difference. And for that, well, you can get our sashiko thread from my website on the YouTube link, description link. And we do have 15 monocolors like this, 15 monocolors. Those are chemically dyed. They used, actually, the manufacturer used the synthetic artificial dye materials to dye these colors, but they are all beautiful. It depends on what kind of fabric you're gonna use it, but they are all beautiful. And also we do have those 5 variation of variegated colors, starting from the prime color, pastel color, ash, pink color, green color, and blue colors. We do also have the natural color, natural dye color. This is a green from indigo. This is kakishibu, which is the persimmon tannin dye, and the other pink, or those like beautiful colors, which I cannot introduce everything right now because some of them are out of stock. You can find the detailed information on my website or on this YouTube. Actually, I think I do have some information about those things. Those are hand dyed by my mother, Keiko. And I sometimes dye, but you know, she's professional, so I let her do it. Those are pretty good thread. Like, we use this kind of thread to make our product much more beautiful and much more appealing. And it's very rewarding to the time you invested. And the last thing I want to say about the sashiko thread is that there are, like, sashiko is getting popular, I would say. Many business dealers are kind of jumping into this market. I'm happy with that. The more people start selling sashiko thread, sashiko supplies, the bigger audience will be, and my goal, our goal to share what sashiko is to the world will be easier to achieve. Again, after all, our goal is to share what sashiko, which the Japanese used to practice pretty much every day, to the next generation. So I'm very happy that sashiko is getting popular, but at the same time, there are some sellers who do not understand what sashiko is. I can see that on Amazon a lot. and I can see other website. That's okay too. But at the same time, please understand and please know the seller who you are buying thread from. With those like tiny price differences, you can kind of protect those Sashiko culture versus getting, a little cheaper thread from non-related Sashiko vendors. I mean, this is not something I can control, obviously. This is the capitalistic society, but I really appreciate it if you know who you're buying from. That can contribute to the Sashiko, and also, that can motivate the artist. So that was about it. Like, there are a lot of Sashiko materials available. You don't have to use our Sashiko. There are a lot of manufacturers who are making Sashiko thread. They're all different. They're all good. Well, some of them are not good. I'm sorry. Most of them are really good. Some are good. Some are pretty bad. So you will see what is good and what is not good by actually using it. And I just wanted to give you some information. Why do we have to use Sashiko thread instead of the other regular thread? And if you're gonna use Sashiko thread, what is the best Sashiko thread in the market? And also, I want you to kind of know that by purchasing a Sashiko thread from the vendors who know what Sashiko is, it's gonna protect the Sashiko culture in the long run. I know some vendors, including of course myself, I know some vendors who are very much spending a lot of time and money to make a research on Sashiko, including my website upcyclestitches.com. I would recommend Kimono Momo from California, and also the Susan Brisk from the England. I respect their work to interpret the Japanese Sashiko to the English environment. I respect their activities. So please don't ignore who you are buying from. That is very big deal in this small market, I would say. So please let me know if you have any questions or concern about this video. I'm trying to kind of do over my comfortable zone to talk about the business. So your comments and feedback would be very much appreciated. Oh, by the way, there were very few people who purchased Sashiko thread not from me and kind of gave me the complaint. No, please don't do that. I'm okay with receiving any complaints, but if I didn't sell that to you, I don't think I can help you out. So if you purchase it from me, of course I will help. I mean, the customer satisfaction is very important for me, so I'll do my best to meet your expectation and my capability. But please please know who you're buying from instead of shooting the kind of complaints to some random vendors. All right. I was I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of questions I received recently about Sashiko thread. So this is kind of like a brief answer about why do we have to use Sashiko thread. Not have to. Why do we use the Sashiko thread, and which Sashiko thread is the best or better? And as a customer, as a Sashiko practitioner, I want you to know who you are buying from. That is pretty important, I would say. All right, thank you so much. I will show you the stitches differences one last time. This is the two things. Right. This is the Sashiko thread we use, and this is the regular sewing thread that I have in my the toolbox. I mean, the craft box. All right, thank you so much. I'll see you next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for the Sashiko live stitching. I am working on the free stitch Sashiko furoshiki, which is the big piece of indigo fabric to wrap things. I hope I can do that this week. And I do have the other tutorial videos, so please check those things out. And please feel free to shoot me the emails with the questions, especially if you purchase something from me, and if you have questions, I'm very happy to answer them. All right, thank you so much.